Good afternoon. Sunday afternoon here. I just wanted to give a little quick update on this $1 Simpson XLP meter here, and it's got some strange happenings going on here. Someone gave me a link to a military service manual, but it takes somebody like Mr. Carlson to figure it out. The strange thing about this is, you see where the needle is right now? There is no batteries connected. I have to fix the terminal that is corroded off, and I stripped the wire back, and I got to make up a terminal, but I don't have any copper or brass, so I'll have to use galvanized sheet metal. I'll have to make one like in here. But anyways, you notice the 9-volt is disconnected because these batteries are needed only for reading ohms. You don't need them for reading voltages or current. You can measure AC and DC. I have only been trying it out on DC so far, and it's not reading right. Now, as you know, this is a VOM, a volt-ohm meter. It does not have any active circuits. Everything's passive. It's resistance, and that's all it is. Now, the meter is perfect. It's right on zero. Mechanical adjustment never was touched. Okay. However, when I put a voltage in here, it does not read correctly. And not only that, with nothing connected here, I turn the range switch from the off position, which is right here, and we've got 10 volts coming out of my power supply here. Okay. I just turned it on. We're going to go up to the 10 volt. Now watch the needle. Climbing. Okay, it's right now it's on the 10 volt scale. Needle is sitting off zero. Watch when I turn it off. Turn it back up. And the higher you turn it up, like the 1 volt scale, this is the 1 volt. One volt DC. You see where the needle is on the 1 volt DC. Okay? We get it down to 2.5 volts. We get it down to, well, actually up to 10 volts. Okay? So, we've got 10 volts going into it. And no, it ain't doing much, is it? Now, the power supply is putting out 10 volts, but right now, we're getting the 10 volts, 10.07 to be exact. We ain't getting it in here. There's a 10 volts right there. One plus DC. Now I had a reading of 10 volts, but it was like a half a volt low. It's 2.5 volts. So something went wrong in here, and I don't know what it is. I'm not going to bother with it because I only paid $1 for it, and it's impossible to service. I was told there could be corrosion on the board. I examined the board. There is none, and I'm not taking this board out. It's way beyond me to do that. Let me go show you inside the meter here in the back on the circuit board. The only thing I see on here is a little brownish around the resistors and everything. That don't seem to be corrosion. It's dry. And I was told to remove the board to clean it. I don't have a light on this camera. I don't know if you can see that. Hang on. All right, I got a light in there the best I can. Now this is the area here where if there was any battery leakage, it would have dripped into here. But as close as I can tell, it's all good. On the bottom, this yellow 0.1 is the output cap. That's the only capacitor in the entire meter. And it goes to the output jack, so you can measure the AC component of your DC voltage on your filter supply or whatever you're using. Over here is the other side. This is your reset button, which is located right there, and of course it's out again. It seems to pop out quite often. That's probably why it didn't read anything. And again, this is where the terminal needs to be replaced, right there. And there don't seem to be any corrosion in there. But however, I'm not removing this board. If you look down here, you see this switch right here? And you see where that little ball bearing is on the bottom nearest the front panel? That little ball bearing goes into an indent, and that indent is on the plastic face. So I'm going to have balls all over the place removing that. And you got wires, heavy bus wires soldered in various areas, and you got to remove the relay. I'm not doing that. Like I say, I paid $1 for it. I have other meters. I'm not dealing with that. That would take somebody that's an instrument technician to calibrate it. I was watching some videos, but it's for the SIMPSON 260, not for this series. You do a lot of your calibration from the jacks. I can understand that. However, there's no way in hell I'm taking that board out. And I don't think the battery leakage caused any of that anyways. So what we're going to do is try to reset this again. Okay, it's in. Now, let's see. Your meter climbs on the 1 volt DC. We got to go down 2 places to 10 volts. Okay. Now that this reset is in, because I always miss that, I don't see it, we still have 10 volts coming out of the power supply. Hang on. And now we've got a reading, but it's not 10 volts. It's reading a hair over 9 volts. Let's pull the lead. You can see how slow it's going down, but it does not go to 0. Mind you, there is no batteries connected. You don't need batteries for the DC because the voltometer, it depends on the resistors. Yes, if you don't get the reading properly, a resistor is off. Okay. However, there's no reason why this should be not returning to 0 unless I turn it off. It went too far, as always. Okay, now the needle is on 0. I'll turn it up. And nothing going in it. Nothing going in it at all. All fuses are good. I could clean this with alcohol. It was suggested to wash it with dishwashing liquid and everything, take it out and blow dry it and put it in the sun. But there's nothing, as you can see, there's no corrosion on the board, and looking underneath where this terminal was corroded off and this end of the battery, the positive end was all rusted. There's no corrosion on the board at all in those areas. But it's a nightmare taking that board out. I'm not going to do that for a $1 meter. I just wanted to give you an update on this. As I said in an earlier video on this, I said I'm going to play around with it, and that's what I've been doing. But I'm not an instrument technician. It takes an instrument technician to tear this down, and you're probably not going to find any corrosion on the board because I can't see any. I can't get a Q-tip up in there to do much good. I can get it some parts, and the only thing I can really get up in there is a Q-tip with alcohol. I may try that now and come back. I'll do that off camera. Hang on. I didn't think that would work anyways. I got in there as much as I could with the Q-tip on the underneath the board, and all around here, these little areas around the components, that's whatever it is, the soldering flux that when they made it, all that little brown air things on there. So it didn't make any difference. We're still reading off scale, except when you turn it off. So let's put it back at 10 volts. Okay, we're still on plus. And let's hook the leads up. I'll be right back. So we're reading, you want to read your 10 volts. You're reading the bottom scale, of course. And we're only reading about 8 3/4 volts. Not quite 9. And we take the leads out. And now the meter's going down slowly. And that's it. It's getting hot in here. I gotta get out of here. I don't want to run the AC again. Alright.